Welcome to IMRAN STAR Video, or as we call it ISVI, the collaborative lens on Vancouver, unfiltered, unscripted, and powered by community. We're not just a voice behind the mic. We're a collective of creators, thinkers, storytellers, and city lovers coming together to spotlight the people, places, and energy that make Vancouver what it is. From coast mountain skylines to neon-lit back streets, we're covering everything from downtown buzz to the untold stories shaping our scene. You'll find us exclusively on YouTube. No algorithms, no filters, just real talk. For behind the scenes, updates, and chaotic brilliance in real time, follow us on TikTok and Instagram. So hit subscribe, drop a comment, and help us grow from 100 to 10,000 and beyond, because this isn't just our platform. It's yours too. Turn it up, get into it. Let's talk Vancouver. This is ISVI. Welcome to Vancouver, the only city where you can walk to work, get caught in 5 microclimates, dodge a raccoon with street smarts, and accidentally walk into a film set pretending to be New York, Seattle, or literally anywhere but Vancouver. If you've ever looked at a TV show and thought, wait, isn't that the alley behind that sushi place on Main? You're not hallucinating. You've just witnessed Vancouver doing what it does best, cosplaying as another city for money. That's right. Vancouver didn't just wake up one day and decide to become a film hotspot. It slowly, sneakily, and somewhat accidentally became the shapeshifter of the entertainment industry, a place where fake snow is a business expense. Closed roads are a weekly event, and seeing a vampire next to a Starbucks is just called Tuesday. Dubbed Hollywood North, Vancouver has become one of the most popular filming locations on the continent, thanks to a magic combination of moody weather, beautiful backdrops, strong production crews, and tax breaks sexier than a shirtless CW actor in the rain. And yes, before you ask, that is the same forest used in every single supernatural, superhero, or apocalyptic series since 2004. But the irony? While Vancouver is constantly seen, it's rarely recognized. The city is famous for playing everywhere but itself. We've been Chicago, San Francisco, Gotham, post-apocalyptic Earth, Riverdale, whatever that is, and at least 3 different space stations. The only time we're allowed to actually be Vancouver on screen is in documentaries, local indie films, or in one fleeting establishing shot before cutting to Toronto, pretending to be Toronto. It's like we're in a constant game of cinematic catfishing, beautiful, talented, but forever pretending to be someone else. So in this journey through how Vancouver became Hollywood North, we're pulling back the curtain, flipping the call sheet, and giving credit to the city that's been quietly carrying half your Netflix queue while still not being invited to the party. Because whether it's The X-Files, Deadpool, or that one scene in your favorite rom-com where you swore you recognized a bus stop, one thing's for sure, Vancouver is working overtime and honestly deserves an IMDb page of its own. 2. Let's be real. Hollywood didn't choose Vancouver because they suddenly developed a passion for poutine and Pacific Northwest gloom. They chose it because Vancouver is basically the budget-friendly, camera-ready, commitment-free situationship they can fly into, shoot in, and ghost by wrap day. First of all, let's talk looks. Vancouver is hot. Not beach in Miami, hot, more like versatile character actor with bone structure, hot. In a single 15-minute drive, you've got glassy downtown skylines, snow-capped mountains, leafy suburban streets, foggy forests straight out of a CW murder mystery, and moody ocean views where someone's always thinking about their childhood trauma. Basically, Vancouver can be anywhere and everywhere except herself. Then there's the weather. And while locals love to complain about the rain like it's a personality trait, Hollywood producers love it like it's a lighting assistant that works for free. Overcast skies mean consistent natural lighting, so camera crews don't have to chase the sun around like they're in an emotionally unstable indie film. For filmmakers, gray skies, fewer headaches, and more aesthetic brooding. It's no wonder Vancouver is the spiritual home of 2000s teen angst. But let's not pretend this is all about trees and lighting. No, Hollywood came for the tax breaks, and baby, they stayed for the savings. British Columbia's film tax credits are so generous, they practically come with a bow and handwritten thank you note. Producers get hefty rebates for shooting here, hiring local talent, and pretending that Robson Street is in Chicago. In fact, it's cheaper to film in Vancouver pretending to be LA than to film in LA being LA. Another win? Vancouver's in the same time zone as Los Angeles, meaning executives can micromanage in real time without even adjusting their Google Calendar. It's logistically easy, culturally familiar, and nobody has to deal with jet lag or maple syrup stereotypes. Also, let's not forget the crew scene. Vancouver has been in the game for decades now, meaning there's a massive pool of experienced directors, cinematographers, lighting techs, costume designers, and people who can make a warehouse look like a dystopian lab in under 48 hours. So yeah, Hollywood didn't just stumble upon Vancouver by accident. They did the math, clocked the vibes, and realized this city was a filmmaker's dream. Affordable, adaptable, and ready to work in all weather. The only catch? They just keep forgetting to give her any actual lines as herself. Third, let's rewind to the early days, the 1970s and 80s, when Vancouver's film industry was still finding its footing, and most American studios only knew us as that place north of Seattle where it rains a lot. But then came productions like The Littlest Hobo, Bless That Roaming Dog, MacGyver, and 21 Jump Street, the original, not the one with Jonah Hill. These shows were the blueprint, proving that Vancouver could do drama, explosions, and brooding cop vibes on a budget. But the real shift happened when a certain spooky little show touched down in the 90s and changed the game forever. Enter The X-Files. That's right, the show that launched 1,000 conspiracy theories and exactly 2 sexual awakenings for every millennial. The X-Files turned Vancouver into the capital of cinematic eeriness, showing the world how perfectly our damp, foggy forests could double as somewhere in small-town Maine, where aliens just vibed. Suddenly, Vancouver wasn't just an affordable backup, it was a vibe, a whole aesthetic, one that said, sure, it's 4 p.m. and pitch black outside, but that just makes it better for lighting this alien autopsy scene. From there, it snowballed. The 2000s brought a full-on teen drama invasion. Smallville, shot in Surrey but still counts. The 100, Kyle XY, remember him? Supernatural, and eventually the entire CW cinematic universe, aka shirtless men running through rain in cities pretending to be other cities. At one point, it felt like every second actor on your screen had just ordered a coffee at JJ Bean between takes. By the 2010s, Vancouver was the go-to city for dystopia and drama. Then came the superhero takeover. Arrow, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Batwoman. Basically every DC show you've seen in the past decade was shot here, using the same 3 rooftops, relit to look totally different, we swear. And let's not forget the Deadpool moment, when Vancouver finally got a blockbuster that didn't try to hide the fact it was filmed here. Deadpool not only embraced the city, it dragged it lovingly. Traffic, architecture, the whole vibe. For once, Vancouver got to be Vancouver, swearing, snarking, and smashing things on the Georgia Viaduct like it was born to do. In short, Vancouver's glow-up from scrappy sci-fi side hustle to full-blown Hollywood side piece was no accident. It was the result of good infrastructure, dark skies, dope crews, and decades of pretending to be places we've never been. And now, she's booked, busy, and maybe just a little bitter that she's still being called somewhere in Oregon. IV. Let's cut the cinematic fluff. Vancouver isn't Hollywood North because of its stunning scenery or impeccable vibes. It's Hollywood North because tax credits make filming here cheaper than your therapist's advice that you still haven't followed. This is the part of the film industry that doesn't get a dramatic soundtrack, the spreadsheet stuff. But behind every alien chase scene in Gastown or emotional monologue on a foggy pier is a producer aggressively calculating how many government rebates they can squeeze out of a maple leaf. British Columbia's Production Services Tax Credit, PSTC, is the reason why producers can show up, shout, "Make it look like Chicago," and roll cameras by Tuesday. In short, if you hire Canadian crew, shoot in BC, and lie about it being New York, the government pays you back, generously, like your rich aunt with guilt issues levels of generous. Let's break it down. You shoot a film in Vancouver, you get basic rebates, you hire local crew and talent, you get bonus rebates. You do post-production here too, more bonus. You film somewhere outside the main city, even more bonus. Now you're just flexing. Basically, the system is designed to say, please come here, make your moody Netflix drama, and pretend we're anywhere but ourselves. We'll foot the bill. Just hire Craig from Burnaby. The result? Producers save millions. Entire seasons of CW shows are filmed for less than what it costs to rent a one-bedroom in Kits. And BC's economy gets a boost from all the hotel bookings, equipment rentals, and locals hired to stand very still while looking emotionally available but mysterious in the background. But like every spicy tea, this one comes with a bitter aftertaste. Because when you follow the money, things get a little messy. On one hand, yes, the film industry generates thousands of jobs, feeds local businesses, and keeps actors employed who haven't booked LA gigs since 2013. On the other hand, it's public money funding private entertainment, which means your tax dollars helped make Sonic the Hedgehog 2. You're welcome. And while Vancouver's crews are some of the best in the game, local filmmakers often get left out of the funding feast. So what actually happens when your city becomes Hollywood's favorite costume change? Well, you get jobs, you get clout, and you get woken up at 4 a.m. by a fog machine outside your apartment. Let's start with the fame and fortune part. The film industry has pumped billions into the BC economy, and we're not just talking popcorn money. We're talking thousands of jobs, from actors and camera crews to set designers, makeup artists, lighting techs, location scouts, catering teams, and that one guy who gets paid to scream "rolling" while holding a walkie-talkie like it's a weapon. And yes, some of these jobs are legit career launching. Vancouver has quietly become home to one of the most skilled behind-the-scenes workforces in the world, like Hollywood's ultra-competent younger sibling who doesn't need the spotlight but runs the whole damn show. The city's studio game is strong too. These are the places where full-blown cities are recreated indoors, where green screens stretch taller than your rent bill, and where Ryan Reynolds has probably sneezed at least once. But here's the thing. For all its economic perks, Vancouver's film industry also comes with a hefty side of chaos. For every job created, there's a resident trying to explain to their boss why they were late because a masked vigilante was fighting crime on their commute route. Living in Vancouver often means waking up to "do not enter filming" signs on your front porch, rerouted buses, and sidewalks overtaken by trailers full of extras in futuristic jumpsuits. And let's not forget the emotional toll of walking past a set where your city is once again playing generic US Metropolis Number 6, while no one wants to make a movie actually set in Vancouver. There's also the housing market ripple effect. When an industry with deep pockets rolls in, so do developers, rent hikes, and a sudden surge in creative loft spaces that are neither creative nor affordable. Whole neighborhoods have been reshaped to better suit production aesthetics, aka gentrified until you can't afford a coffee without budgeting first. And no, the show being filmed on your block won't lower your rent, but it will make it impossible to park near your own house for the next 6 days. And while production crews are racking up credits like Pokemon, local storytellers often get sidelined. Vancouverites trying to make indie films or tell actual stories about the city still struggle to get funding or distribution. Still, for many creatives, the industry is a lifeline. It's how they pay rent, barely, hone their skills, and sneak moments of pride when they spot their name in the credits of that one show your mom watches. Vi, let's address the neon-lit elephant in the room. Vancouver is constantly pretending to be someone else. If you've ever yelled, "Wait, isn't that the Burrard Bridge?" during an episode of a show supposedly set in Chicago, congrats, you've spotted Vancouver in cosplay again. We've played New York, Seattle, San Francisco, generic small-town America, Tokyo in the rain, at least 3 dystopian futures, and once even stood in for the moon. Yes, that happened. Basically, we've played everyone but ourselves. The Meryl Streep of city acting, if Meryl never got credited. It's a strange gig. We're famous for being unrecognizable. We're ready to be more than a blank slate for American angst. We're tired of watching our skyline in every CW drama while the plot pretends it's Boston. Let Vancouver be Vancouver, the city with a personality disorder because of the film industry, not in spite of it. Give us shows that are about this place, that sound like this place, that let us exist instead of being filtered through someone else's fantasy. Because being everyone's cinematic side piece is exhausting, and frankly, we deserve a little main character energy. When Vancouver does play herself, like in cult faves The Delicate Art of Parking, Douglas Coupland's Jaded Love Letters, or moments in Da Vinci's Inquest, you see a city with character. A little neurotic, often rain-soaked, always under construction, but full of weird charm, quiet resilience, and people who have strong opinions about bike lanes and sushi. We're ready to be more than a blank slate for American angst. We're tired of watching our skyline in every CW drama while the plot pretends it's Boston. Give us shows that are about this place, that sound like this place, that let us exist instead of being filtered through someone else's fantasy. Because being everyone's cinematic side piece is exhausting, and frankly, we deserve a little main character energy. We have our own stories, ones about immigration, indigenous sovereignty, housing crises, tech startups, queer communities, art scenes, and yes, an unholy number of yoga studios. But these stories rarely make it to screen. Why? Because apparently it's easier to convince audiences this is Manhattan than to convince studios we're worth showing up as ourselves. But 7, let's be real. Vancouver has been Hollywood's favorite Canadian side hustle for decades. But the question is, how long can we keep pretending we're every other city and still hold it together? We've been carrying CW superhero shows, straight-to-streaming thrillers, and emotionally ambiguous Apple TV dramas on our damp little backs for years. And frankly, this city needs a chiropractor. First, the good news. Vancouver still slays in terms of infrastructure. We've got the studios, the crews, the locations, the tax credits for now, and more film tech bros per capita than any city that doesn't rhyme with Burbank. We're still the blueprint for how to turn rainy weather into atmospheric B-roll. The better news? There's a rising wave of Indigenous and local BIPOC filmmakers who are done being background players and are actively reclaiming storytelling power. Now the chaos. Streaming platforms are panicking. Budgets are shrinking. Studios are merging like it's a corporate version of Pokemon Evolution, and the AI overlords begin generating entire cities in Unreal Engine. The tech is here, it's terrifying, and if someone finds a way to make Vancouver digitally, some exec will do it and say, this is so sustainable, while laying off 400 people. And let's talk burnout. Crews are overworked, schedules are brutal, and the pressure to keep churning out content is real. Also, if BC decides to mess with tax incentives, bye. The film industry will pack its ring lights and ghost us faster than a Toronto finance bro after brunch. But here's the plot twist. Vancouver has a chance to pivot, not away from filming, but toward ownership. toward supporting homegrown talent, toward letting Vancouver be the star, not just the stunt double. This city is packed with creators, actors, writers, directors, and cultural workers who know how to make something incredible with $5, a forest trail, and a dream. Give them the platform, the funding, and maybe, just maybe, some rent they can afford. Because if Vancouver's going to keep being Hollywood North, we shouldn't just rent the costume. We should own the damn stage. Fiat. So here we are. After decades of shooting everything from post-apocalyptic YA love triangles to alien crime procedurals, Vancouver remains the girl in the group project, doing all the work while the name on the final slide is New York. She shows up on time, hits her marks, stays within budget, and still somehow doesn't get the credit. Classic oldest daughter energy in city form. We've played Gotham, Seattle, Tokyo, Mars, and even fake Vancouver in movies pretending to be somewhere else entirely. And still, the only time we're allowed to be Vancouver is in a sad Canadian indie where someone walks into the ocean for metaphorical reasons. What's worse is that we've been conditioned to be okay with that. Like, sure, call me Boston again, I guess, said Vancouver as she prepared to host her 17th car chase this week. But we're over it. The industry has milked this city dry like an oat latte in a West End coffee shop, and now it's time to stop treating her like a backdrop and start treating her like a story. Because Vancouver is not just a scenic placeholder for American cities with commitment issues. She's a real one, with cultural contradictions, climate anxiety, gentrification drama, art scenes built in spite of funding cuts, and a population that somehow survives rent, raccoons, and relentless rain. She's been through it, and she's got tales to tell. So what's next? Ideally, films and shows that are unapologetically Vancouver. Local directors, BIPOC storytellers, Indigenous creators, and weird art school grads who are sick of seeing their city rebranded with fake taxi cabs and bad New York accents. Vancouver isn't just where content gets made, it is content. Wild, rainy, beautiful, awkward, complicated content. In the end, Vancouver might always be Hollywood North, but that doesn't mean she has to keep hiding behind a mask. The city deserves main character energy, so the next time you're watching your favorite dystopian romance or superhero reboot, take a second to appreciate the real MVP in the background. Not the CGI or the leads, but the city doing all the work in a trench coat labeled Anywhere USA. And remember, Vancouver may be cast as everyone else, but she's finally ready to play herself. And just like that, the city's pulse slows. But the story doesn't stop. You've been watching ISV, IMRAN STAR video, where voices come together and the city speaks back. We're a crew, not a single face, a movement, not a moment. And every episode, that's built with you, for you, by all of us. From the seawall to the skyline, from underground voices to rooftop vibes, we're telling the stories that don't make the news, but make the neighborhood. If this episode hit, pass it on. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on TikTok and Instagram. Drop a comment and tell us what your Vancouver sounds like. We're building this together, clip by clip, story by story. From 100 to 10K to wherever this takes us, when we get there, we all show up. So until the next drop, stay loud, stay collective, and stay in it. This is ISV, signing off.